Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Rolene Marks, your host, bringing you those top stories from Israel and surrounds every Monday to Thursday. And I can't believe another week has just flown by as quick as it has. And if you're wondering where you can find us on Facebook on our page at Lottle Site. Like us or follow us. You can find us on our YouTube channel at The Israel Brief, and you can find us at the end of every week where we do a recap on our website. That is www.layoftheland.com. So if you missed out on your news during the week, if you don't find us on any of those three platforms, message us, we'll sort you out. But let's take a look at the top stories, and we begin with an absolute historical first that came down to the wire last night when Yair Lapid, chairman of Yesh Atid and the head of the Change Bloc, submitted to President Rivlin the signatures of all the parties who have agreed to form a coalition unity government. Now, this is quite extraordinary because for the first time in Israel's history, we have a true representation of Israeli society. We have religious right-wingers, we have left-leaning politicians, we have centrist politicians, and we also have a religious Islamist party by the name of Ra'am. So it's really a cross-section of Israel, and Prime Minister Netanyahu will go to the opposition. He will head the opposition there, and Israel's new government is due to be led by the incoming Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, who will rotate with Yair Lapid. But it's not in the it's not ingrained just yet. This still has to go through a voting process in the Knesset, which Lapid is hoping to push through in the next couple of days. He also wants to replace Speaker of the Knesset, Yariv Levin, from the Likud faction. The concern there is that Netanyahu and Levin could possibly scupper the chances of this coalition government going through. And he has suggested Miki Levy. Some of you may be familiar with him. He's the former spokesperson of the Israeli police. So we are watching the next few days, but we're over 90% there with a new government. So why did it take so long? There were some last-minute negotiations to still get over yesterday. The Yamina party wanted their candidate, Ayelet Shaked, to head the important portfolio on the choosing of judges. This was already given to Merav Micheli of the Labour Party. However, they have reached a rotational deal, which will see them rotating turns heading up the committee. And what is also very interesting is that in this coalition deal, the Ra'am party, which is the Islamist political party, religious party, may have a deputy minister in the prime minister's office. So very, very historical day for Israel. And this, coupled with the election of Isaac Herzog to be the new president, makes this quite an extraordinary moment in Israel's history, and hopefully has put to bed this never-ending cycle of elections. In other news, last week we spoke about the controversial story of the director of UNRWA in Gaza, Dr. Matthias Schmal, in an interview with Israel's Channel 12, speaking about how he thought the IDF had done everything in their power to limit the amount of civilian casualties during the recent flare-up in Operation Guardians of the Wall. And he said that these strikes by the IDF were precise and sophisticated. Well, he has been forced to flee Gaza as an objection has been launched by the ruling Hamas. Hamas are internationally recognized as a terrorist organization, and Schmal has had to leave indefinitely and has been recalled by his bosses in Jerusalem to explain his comments in his interview on Israel's Channel 12. I don't think any of us want to imagine what kind of conditions he was under when he was forced to apologize to Hamas the next day, and we wish him every bit of the best. I think anyone who believes in democracy and freedom is concerned about this treatment of UNRWA's director in Gaza. And our final story takes us to Jerusalem. Last year it was cancelled, but as we speak, the annual Pride Parade in Jerusalem is taking place. It has opened up with a dedication to Shira Blank, who was killed as a result of being part of the LGBTQ community. Earlier today, 2 17-year-olds were arrested for putting up anti-pride posters, and they will appear before the court later today. But in this week, where we have seen all kinds of accusations internationally leveled against Israel, the actions of both the voting in the government as well as what is happening in Jerusalem, I think, quite dispel many of the accusations made that Israel is not a progressive country. So those are our top stories as we head into the weekend. Don't forget your online content at our website, www.layoftheland.online. We're on Facebook at Lottel Site, YouTube at the Israel Brief, Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. And all that remains is for me to wish you a safe, a healthy, and a restful weekend. Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you on the other side of the weekend.